Hi beautiful people, and welcome to another Galactic Mayan astrology report, coming at you from my grandma's house and my bleed cave that I am gently descending into, which feels quite significant actually for the Wavespell we're moving into. But I got those little cramps, so I am curled up and beaming at you from a curled up position on the floor. And I do quite like it. I really do appreciate the experience of having a womb. Before I tell you all that jazz, because it links into this Wavespell, might as well tell you what the Wavespell is, haven't I? So this is a Wavespell report. So, just to backstep slightly, if you don't understand the inner workings of the Galactic Mayan calendar, very soon the new diary, the new edition, the 6th edition of the Galactic Mayan diary that I've been producing, the astrological diary, will be coming in very, very soon, which feels really exciting, for the new cycle that begins at the end of October. More magical things to share around that coming soon also. But yeah, that explains the inner workings of the calendar and, you know, this 260-day, 9-month experience that we have, which is the natural human being cycle of time, is split into 20 archetypes. Every 13 days, we journey with a different archetype, which is supporting us to evolve a certain thread of the human evolution process. So on the 30th of August, Wednesday the 30th of August, we begin a new 13-day cycle. And the archetype for that 13-day cycle is the energy of the red moon. So last year, as a collective body, we were all journeying with the energy of the red moon. So we're kind of having a little bit of a revisit, because not only do we have 13-day cycles, we also have 13-year cycles too. We have our personal 13 years and we have our collective 13 years. So our collective 13 years began in 2019, and last year was the red self-existing moon. Self-existing meaning our foundation, red moon meaning everything that I'm going to say on this Wavespell journey. So something that's been coming up for me a lot recently, which is really in alignment with what this vibe is about, is how we are still living in the echo of a previous manifestation of collective reality. One that was based on a predominantly masculine polarity energetically. And what I mean by that, I'm not talking gender. I'm talking like, what is masculine energy? You know, if we were to maybe use a different word, we could, but this energy of like the doing and the creation and the pushing and the boom, you know, that whole like spark of life that's, yeah, let's go. And often can be like, let's go, and overrides the feminine, be, receive, rest, integrate. So this is the echo that we're still caught within, because, yeah, there's a delay. And as I'm birthing esteemed creatives at the moment, seeing how, you know, it's pushing me because it's birthing into the dimension that we're in at the minute and the echo that we're in at the minute. And, you know, for me to have a womb and to journey with having a womb, if I'm really going to allow myself to take the evolutionary medicine of that, there is a descent each month, and that descent involves a death, and that death requires space. But in the reality that we have created and made normal, to take the space for death doesn't, or it isn't socially acceptable. You know, if I was in a standard job, ain't no way for that. And I've got to fight, you know, to create this space in my life. And this is kind of what the red moon energy is about. Now, if we look at the journey that we kind of have had outside of they had an agenda that was this, vibration of what's happened over the past few years on the planet, what we can see is that we were all sent to our rooms. Everything stopped. And on one level, there's a divine manifestation of that, which is it can stop. And when it stops, cool shit is allowed to happen. And I know that there's all the other pieces of the puzzle and all the different echoes and within that. But there's something in the red moon energy, because the red moon essentially is about cyclical existence, purification, and human being over human doing. This morning I had a really beautiful experience with my grandma. She's Christian, and like sometimes over the years that's caused quite a like loggerhead experience. But in recent years, what we've both recognised is that we exist in faith and we have a connection to spirit. And that's not something that opposes us, that's something that we share. And, you know, through that shared experience, we've just been able to like connect in a whole new way. Like once we let go of the dogma that put our tribes at loggerheads, we have then been able to really journey deeply together. And this morning, like, she has like a prayer practice and has got this like cool app. And basically this app was like, it was totally divine, the passage or the preaching or whatever you want to call it. I don't know the right words for it. But it was all basically about like Jesus as an activist and this kind of energy of, you know, we're here to empty out so that we can receive spirit. And when we're receiving spirit, we've got all of the resources that we need, but we're also like holding that beacon of light. And, you know, the light and the love energy, though I know that there's been a huge dissociation of the dark within that, the dark and the descent and the death and the gnarly and all of it, and the like, the sparkly shit, you know, the higher octave that's out of duality is love. You know, it's not that there's an outside of love, you know, it's all love. And the more that we can open ourselves and create the space, and this is what the red moon's about, it's like the purification of the human form. And I don't mean water fasting, I mean like the cognitive purification, the biological purification, the spiritual purification, the all of it purification, creating the space in the conditioning purification, then allows us to be the vessels that we're here to be the advocates of the earth that we are, you know, to be the advocates of spirit and of consciousness that we are. And, you know, the journey of the red moon really allows us to go through a purification process. And the kind of shadow of this, the underbelly of it, is about control and, you know, controlling each other, but also the like micromanagement of life too. And when we are, you know, like we've kind of got, and I go through this process quite a lot, you know, and this is then where it links into the like having to fight for the space to rest and to integrate and to not do. Because, you know, there's like in this dimension, there's like that many resources that each of us has. And when all of these resources are taken up, but then, for instance, with someone that bleeds, when all of those resources are taken up because you're literally coming offline because your body's dying, or something's dying off, you've then only got that bit. It's like, oh, but there's so many things that need to happen. Like, I need to take care of that bit of me. So that's quite a lot of those resources. So I've got that tiny bit left. And there isn't a recognition of that. But the other side of this is, as we allow ourselves that time to rest and to empty and to receive, then what we're gridding into is not simply our resources, it's the resources of existence. You know, it's the infinite that we are allowing ourselves to grid into. So what I'm trying to share within that is like, you know, the more that we can create the space to surrender, to receive, then what we're giving, what we're creating, and what we're doing isn't actually our own resources, it's coming through us. And this is the journey of the red moon, this is the journey of the transition, I guess, that we're in as a collective. It's like, okay, so if we weren't living on our own resources and we were living on the infinite, if we were able to really like open the human vessel into the wizard multidimensionality, which is the alchemy, creates the space and the fuel, where we then are able to create anything infinitely in any direction because we've unlocked the human psyche, then from there, like, it's only from that expanded perception that we can change worlds, that we can transform worlds. And on one level, it's just about us being advocates, it's just about us being empty vessels and allowing whatever wants to come through. So this also, you know, the red moon energy really teaches us about, like, how do we how do we listen? How do we take action from inspiration? How do we wait? You know, and how do we trust? So during this 13-day process, we are going to be invited into an experience where our trust is of paramount importance. We probably will have experiences where our boundaries get a little bit tested. We might have our faith tested a little bit, but really what that's allowing us to do is to develop trust, to develop faith, you know, and the recognition of us as cyclical beings, you know, whether you've got a womb or not, simply being a human, you know, means that we need that internal rest time. We need that time to like grid in, to let go, to surrender. And it's just as important as the doing, if not more important than the doing, because it creates a different kind of doing, and it's a kind of doing that's in balance. And what we can see, you know, across the planet is that the doing without the being is destruction. It is like the raping of resources. It is out of balance. It has deep consequence. Whereas the being, or the doing that follows the being, means that we are resourced, and then what we're doing with the doing is an inspired action that is in consideration and alignment with the wider ecosystem, because we're listening, we're gridded in, we're not just existing in this like weird detached human reality, we're part of nature. And you know, this is another really big piece of like, particularly the red signs, but you know, red earth and red moon, there is like an integration into nature. Like, what is natural existence? You know, how does natural, and you know, when we watch nature, we get to see, you know, we get to see this seasonal experience. We get to witness the animals that follow the clock of nature. And this, you know, so I feel like sharing it now, and I'm just sharing it as a seed. Watch this space. So there's something that's going to be launching at the beginning of the next cycle called the Cosmic Quest. And in the Cosmic Quest, it's going to be like a year-long adventure where we're working with the Wheel of the Year, which is the natural clock, and the Galactic Mind Calendar, which is the cosmic clock. So it's called the Cosmic Quest, because there's something really key about not only humanity. It's like we've got to kind of grid in and down and back into nature, as well as expanding out into our infinite abundance. So there's like a two-way thing, and this is kind of, so I'll share more about that later, coming soon. But yeah, the experience of the red moon is really teaching us, if we desire to listen, how to become cyclical beings that manifest in alignment with the ecosystem, that are working toward the evolution of everything, not just the individual breaking through of untapping into, creating whatever we want in the world. And this is the feminine teaching. It's like, it's not just about us individually, it's about all of us together. And yeah, this like rewiring of the human to the actual human being, we chill and we create and we do, but we chill and we listen and we receive and we feel, and we let the descent take us when it wants to take us, and we allow ourselves to go through the whole full spectrum process, so that then, we're riding a wave of inspiration when we're riding this like, whoa, when we are creating. And not only are we riding it, like the synchronicity pops off like fuck, because we're in surrender. So over the next 13 days, there may be moments where you're having an opportunity to level up with your faith. You're having an opportunity to claim your needs. You're having an opportunity to let go of control. And then on the other side of that, we're building these amazing new ways of seeing, like, when I honor this, the flow carries me. I don't need to do. I am done through. So I'm sending you loads of love. If you haven't tuned into everything that I'm doing with Esteemed Creatives, it's very much in alignment with this. Creating space for young people to not be forced to do anything, and instead allow the inspiration to be what inspires action. The inspiration inspires, don't you know? So yeah, please give generously to that, because it's chunky and we're doing really well with our fundraiser and it's all going together. We've got our open day on Friday and it's just like, yes. But also for little Jyoti, it's like, fuck. So yeah, sending you loads of love, bleedy love, red moony love, cosmic kisses love. And I'll see you next time, or you'll see me next time.